Okay, everybody, it's 10:02 and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. This is being recorded so we can share this later with those who couldn't make it and hopefully even more will join us. So I'm Mary Jane Mudd. I'm the Executive Director of the East Harris County Manufacturers Association, and I am so glad that you're joining me today. This program is called Unlocking the Value of Your Membership. And there really is a lot of value to ECMA's membership. We are so glad that you're members, but you can't know about the value unless you know a little bit about what's available to you and what we do every day. So it's in the spirit of that knowledge that we've created this presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And one more thing, we're going to hold the questions till the end, and that way I can get through this, and then we'll have some time for Q&A. So let me share. All right, hopefully you see a mountain there. And if not, somebody let me know. All right. Let's see. I've got this in front of me. Let's get this down a little bit. Slideshow from the beginning. All right. So hopefully everybody can see that. And again, it's called Unlocking the Full Value of Your ECMA Membership. What we're going to talk about is, first of all, just a little bit of background on who ECMA is. What resources are at your fingertips that are available to you that you might not even know about? What we do day to day that offers benefits to our members. Just a little bit more about your ECMA investment, whether you are necessarily involved or not. It's what we're doing every day on your behalf. And then finally, maximizing impact through engagement. As you know, you get out of stuff what you put into it. But even so, there's a lot we're doing every day that will make a difference to industry and our members. Okay, so who we are. Just a couple brief slides on this. We were founded in 1987, for anybody who doesn't know that, so we've been around a while. We are a coalition of 120 plant sites. Those are your plant sites managed by 75 companies. So throughout 7 regions, 10 cities, 3 ports. We are at one of the largest petrochemical sites in the world, and 25,000 people comprise our various members, with 12 billion through taxes, payrolls, purchases, and capital expenditures. Our mission statement is to deliver value to our members, that's you, with health, safety, environmental responsibility, and economic growth in mind. We do this by creating opportunities for you for best practice sharing, as well as engaging in emergency response partnerships. We advocate on your behalf, and we communicate with our members and neighbors. And a quick view of our board members. Just want you to know who is, let's see if it's going to open for me. Here we go. Just want you to see who is leading our organization. Kim Haas with ExxonMobil is our chair. Dirk Perrin with Chevron Phillips. Chad Moody with Arkema, and Sharon Hulgan with Dow. They comprise our executive committee. And then here are our board members. And we have about 14 board members. Our bylaws say we can have 17. So if that is something that intrigues you, you can always get in touch with me. Tiffany Steele is going to move on, and Alan Phillips is her replacement, so he will be joining us soon. And those are our board members. Let's see. Having a little trouble trying to get this. Okay. So, available resources. Stuff you have at your fingertips but may not be aware of. So this is where I have to toggle out for just a moment of this and get into our website. Okay, so this is the ECMA website, as you hopefully know. And we have a members only page. Now, it's just like it sounds, only members can use it. So let's say you get into it and it doesn't, and it blocks you. All you've got to do is write to the admin. There's going to be instructions, and then literally within a couple minutes, you will get a password and you'll be able to get in. And then you can set up your own password. So let me show you what's here. At first pass, it doesn't, it's like, oh, okay, this is here. But I'd like to go into a few of these things so you can really see the tools that are available to you. So first of all, best practices. Now, there are thousands of best practices, right? But our board members have come together and they have put out surveys and they have spoken to member companies about what is most critical to them, just the high level best practices. And these five, permit to work, confined space entry, fall protection, and so forth, line equipment opening, there are PDFs, and I'm not going to open everything during this call, or it'll be a long presentation, but there are PDFs on all of these best practices, but we also have videos. So, so there you go. There's a video on this particular best practice, and I'm gonna turn that off. Okay. And now something happened that I was afraid of, and I've lost my place, but we're gonna get right back because here we go. All right. So, board meeting minutes is just what it sounds like. Okay. You open this and you'll see what we are discussing, what the priorities are, where the funds are being spent. It's really a very good tool. Now, here is something that a lot of people know exists, but because of day-to-day work, too busy to open it, sometimes you open it, looks like it's too much. I want to go into a couple of the offerings from our EHCMA Crisis Communications Handbook. Now, for all of our member companies, crisis communication is paramount, I'd say for all of industry. When an incident does occur, how we communicate in those initial hours and those initial minutes makes a difference in safety first and foremost in our relationship with the community. This is why we've had workshops on this. And we have talked about this handbook. This handbook, what I'm going to show you, is the result of some of the major members coming together, like ExxonMobil, Shell Deer Park Chemicals, Dow, and they've put all these tools together. At our recent crisis communications workshop, we put it all together and gave folks binders with all this. But you also have it right here. So let me give you an idea. For some reason, when I open this, it brings me to the middle of the document. But okay, right off the bat, we have a quick reference guide for you. I mean, I'm not gonna read all this to you, but it tells you how to plan ahead. Now, some of the public affairs people on this call know all this, but it's a wonderful refresher to make sure that you're crossing all the T's and dotting the I's. For plant managers who may not have a public affairs person, this is an excellent tool to tell you how to prepare and how to deploy, what to do, what the PIO does, your initial checklist, who you need to speak with. So let's see. Something I didn't plan on was this little, mm, yeah, yeah, that is not what I want to do. But anyway, I'm trying to go backwards here, and I can't seem to with, this is really going to be it's going to be a challenge for me, but that's okay. So we'll close that. We'll go back to this. Okay. All right. So regarding the Crisis Communications Handbook, we also have, and this is excellent, it shows you key messages. It tells you who to call, how to call. It gives you ideas. See, here's an entire, yeah. And, it gives you a space where you can put all of the important stakeholder numbers, but it also, this is what I just really enjoy. is, or really enjoy, or really value, is all the key messages: transparency and accountability, care and concern. Now, obviously, you would tailor these messages to your needs, but nevertheless, look at all this great stuff. And a lot of this was pulled together working with the American Chemistry Council, community assistance. This is all right there. Let's see, record, remote control, hide names. Okay. 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 Um, I'm just having a little bit of a problem getting that out of the way. Okay. And then here's some templates, press releases, media statements for every scenario, all right here. So, okay. The struggle I'm having is this row up here, and I'm trying to get away from it. So my regrets for that, folks. So I will show you a few more things. All right, members only map. This is amazing. I didn't realize we had this until I was probably a couple months into my job. First of all, here are all of our regions. So we've got, Houston, Pasadena, North Channel, Baytown, LaPorte, Deer Park, Bay Area. So let's say you want to know, where are all the TCEQ air monitoring sites? There you go. What about HRM air monitoring sites? How about where all of our members are located? And okay, well, who's this one? It's Lyondell-Basell. So got our committee chairs. So if you want to know where they're located, right here, this would be Sarah Cronin, and she's the head of our public info committee. So it's just really, where are our board members? So it's whatever you are looking for, and then all of our member sites. So if you want to see the good company that you're in, all of our outreach areas, if you want to zoom in on an outreach area, who's located in Baytown. But this really is a good tool that we have. And, we keep it updated regularly. And you will just really, I really appreciate it. So, all right. Here we go. That's what I might have to do, is just minimize this a little bit and get it lower. Hang in there with me. I've got a couple more cool things to show you. All right, so a number of different, we have the members only map. This plant manager resource guide is also an incredible tool that we put together a couple of years ago. It used to be what was called the onboarding document. It was like 25 PDFs, and we pulled it all together to give you guys helpful information, especially if you're a new plant manager coming on board. But even if not, you can go through and find some really good information here. And it's created like a website, so you can just hop around. So, onboarding. Here's me telling you a few things about ECMA and what we hope you can do. If you want to hop over to best practices, they're right there, and you can click and go to that page that I just showed you. You want to move back to, let's see, incident management. Everything here about what a plant manager, or really a public affairs or HS&E person, wants to know about plant management. Incident management during a plant crisis. So, there's that. We also have a connection here to that handbook I just showed you, the Industrial Incident Communications Handbook. And it really is a very useful tool. So then, community leadership. Okay, this is going to tell you about the CAPs, and it's going to go into further information about the CAPs. It tells you about each and every one. So if you were to go back to our table of contents, you know, each and every cap, it'll just pop you right there. So anyway, there's a lot of good information here. References, websites, and acronyms. If you go through this particular book and you see something missing or you see something you'd like to have or something that's incorrect, let us know because it's an evergreen project. We are always updating it. A couple of our committees have minutes. They create minutes and they're posted here. One is environmental, the other one's security. And this is something else that is just being launched now, a revised version. Now, I showed you the Crisis Communications Handbook. And the difference between that and this is more of an emergency response document, the Industrial Incident Communications Handbook. So what this is, and while this is really meant, I'd say for plant managers and the emergency responders, really everybody should know what's in here. Okay. It is literally what it says here, a collaborative approach to quick, clear, and consistent communications among industry, responsible agencies, and their surrounding communities. But what this digs deep into is e-notify, care, and how you need to report relatively quickly within the first 15 minutes if there is an incident. And not just an incident, just information levels 1, 2, and 3, right to know for the community. So this is something that EHCMA put together working with community, and it goes far more into the emergency element of communication. The communications handbook is more around the communication style. So this is really a great thing that we have too. Okay. And I want to show you the industry status board, and then we'll be in the webinars. Okay. All right. Now, this is something that, again, all of this only EHCMA members can get through to. But you may have heard David Wade, our incident liaison, speaking about the industry status board. The idea is that our member companies keep this updated. And if you can't get into this, you contact this person down here named Loretta Whalen, and she'll help you as long as you're a member. This industry status board, and it could be a presentation unto its own, unto itself, but the industry status board provides a tremendous amount of information that emergency responders use and our member companies use, especially if they are preparing for a weather event. Let's see, so under incident situation, these are not incidents, okay? These are level ones here. But ExxonMobil Olefins plant, what are they up to? Okay. They want us to know this is very much how e-notifying care works. That's what this is. There will be something that we need to know about. And so they've posted this here. Let's see, hurricane status. We get information there about any hurricane status. Let's see. Message board, I'll skip, but these links are amazing. We're about to replace this with the 2024 Emergency Response Guidebook. There's an entire book there. You go down here, you can see if there's any, fortunately, there are no floods at this time, but it shows us where watersheds are. You can click that, you can click channels, just a whole lot of really good stuff there. And I liked this one. I'm sure you guys have apps for this, but nevertheless, this is helpful information that can be used if we are preparing for a severe weather event or anything else. And if we have ride-out crews available, do we have ride-out crews? Do we not have ride-out crews? So it's all right there in the members only guide. And I think the last thing I'd like to show you is the webinar we have right now is being recorded and it's going to be on this page. So all of our webinars that we've put out for the last couple of years are here, including the hurricane season one that just happened with Jeff Lindner and also David Wade. So, okay, now we're going to come back to this page. and start from the current slide. All right. One sec. All right. So, talked about some available resources. The other resources you have would be myself, Holly Kurth, and Monica Rhodes. Myself, okay, so I'm executive director. I have been involved in, well, I've been worked for corporations, petrochemicals, and oil and gas for over 30 years. I have a strong background in crisis communication, communication, stakeholder reputation, and advocacy. Holly Kurth is our communications leader. And Monica Rhodes, many of you have met in the past because she helps us set up our meetings, and she does a whole lot more than that. She leads the Manifest Creative Association management firm, and her team manages a lot of what we do, from the financing and finances and accounting to organizing some of our great events. You got us. Key benefits. All right, so I talked to you briefly about e-notify and care. Well, just to be clear, that is something that that EHCMA funds, that EHCMA maintains, and this gives us the opportunity to communicate with the public for anything, not just a very severe incident, but when we're flaring, when there might be a situation in the fence line, such as an odor that could go beyond the fence line, we're able to communicate as a courtesy to community members. And that's very critical. The CARE app then takes the e-notify keywords and pushes it out on everybody's mobile phones. And we'll hear more about CARE in a moment, but that is something that EHCMA brings to bear. Some other benefits. It's important to us to give you the opportunity to create stronger stakeholder relations, to advocate with local, leaders of any kind, but especially elected officials and state officials. So to that end, a couple of pictures here. All of these photos are experiences where we went and met with legislators, but because I know the members, I tapped a few folks and said, hey, do you want to come? We're going to be talking about what industry does in society. Do you want to come? Or we're going to be advocating for this particular bill. Do you want to come? So we try to bring y'all in front of those stakeholders. Now, you might have public affairs people who do that for you, and that's excellent. If you don't have that, or even if you want to just know what we're up to, you can certainly stay in touch with me, and I'll keep you in mind. We advocate by going to Chemistry Day with the Texas Chemistry Council. So the photo in the middle and the photo on the bottom, those are both taken in February when we went to Austin and we met with all members of state senators and representatives and so forth, and talked about transportation issues, CCS, carbon capture, community colleges, and really, strengthen those relationships. Something else we do is if there is something that your company hopes to achieve, if it's a grant, if you want to reach out to the DOE, if you're writing, in this case, this letter was sent to the Environmental Protection Agency about Texas primacy for CCS, carbon capture. I will write that. We will write that for you and send it to whichever stakeholder you're talking about. Now, it has to align, of course, with our mission and with what is critical to industry. But we do a lot of that, and folks have tapped into me in the past, and I'm always happy to help. Other benefits we provide to you. We have an annual crisis communications workshop. Some of you were involved in that. This year we had over 120, plus we had Mayor Jerry Mouton who came to speak, and Adrian Garcia came to speak. And it was really a good opportunity. It was about 4 to 5 hours, an opportunity for folks to come together, talk about experiences, refresh what they know, share what what they've experienced. And it was really a good program. We do it every year, pending our budget. And something that if you see an e-blast come by your desk and you think, I've always wanted to do that, go ahead and do it. It's some of the best 4 to 5 hours you'll ever spend. This is a new offering that I'm making, Crisis and Media Interviews Core Skills Training. So what that means is I might have mentioned that I've trained over 1,000 people in crisis communications and media relations. And during my time with the American Red Cross, I had a stint with the Red Cross. I was at the forefront during Hurricane Harvey, being interviewed by members of media. And I say that only to tell you that I've got this skill set and it's an offer that I'd like to make free of charge to our members. Now, to be clear, this would be a couple hours core skills training, how to talk to media, how to bridge to the topics you want to cover, how to prepare your key messages. It would not take the place of the 6 hour agency courses where they bring in cameras and they do playback. So I want to be clear about that, but I want to share that these are some skills that if you refresh them and practice them, hopefully you'll never need them, but if you do, you'll know how to do it. So I want to make that available to you. We do have access to health, safety, and environmental best practices through those webinars and the programs I mentioned. And more webinars. This is something that we provide to you all free of charge. So beyond the crisis communications, and I think I mentioned earlier that we had a hurricane webinar, we try to tap into our members and ask them what really interests you, what concerns you, and we keep our ears open. To that end, we had Steve Smith speak about air quality last year. We might have him do it again. Hurricanes, air quality. We're looking at other topics right now as well, such as best practices. For our member breakfast, so far this year, we have had TCEQ come and speak about regulations. We recently had TxDOT come and speak about the transportation projects that they're working on. We're always, like I said, keeping our ears open to see what might be of interest to you. The breakfasts are on a quarterly basis. The webinars are as we think of them. So if there is a topic you really want to hear about, you might want to see a couple of subject matter experts speak on those topics, just let us know. And at the end of this presentation, I tell you how. Okay, but the member breakfasts are quarterly. We're working on the next one probably in September. I'll keep you updated. Other key benefits, I'm sure you have received our EHCMA Connect newsletter. If you haven't, check your spam folder, and if it's not there, let us know. We want you to have it. So it's really a two-part benefit with the EHCMA Connect newsletter. Not only does it keep you up to date on the things that are going on in industry and going on with our member companies, some regulatory issues, it also goes to about 2,800 members and stakeholders. So that means some members of the public, but also elected officials, chambers of commerce, some of the other civic leaders in the area. So it's a great place for you to share about what your company is doing. Are you certainly in the community? I just read something about one of our member companies doing a matching donation with their employees for the tragic floods in the Hill Country. That will go in our newsletter, and therefore that information goes further and just helps socialize, if you will, what industry does and how we support our communities. So please let us know if there is something that's happening at your company that you want to share. We are putting out our next newsletter in August, and we're pulling that together right now. Social media amplification, what I mean by that is what you see right here. We keep an eye on what our member companies are doing, and we promote that work. We put it on LinkedIn, we put it on Twitter or X, we put it on Instagram. We push out and amplify the good stuff that you're doing, or information on projects or expansions, whatever you want if you're a member company. So we do that. We do put out e-blasts on a regular basis in our partnership with some organizations like the Harris County Office of Emergency Management. They go through us to get out important information on weather, on cybersecurity, on different things. But yeah, that's another thing that we do to keep you guys informed. We do put together networking events such as our annual meeting, and it's an opportunity to connect with community leaders and share what's going on with your member companies and build those relationships. We provide so communication with one voice. What we mean by that is, let's say there is an incident, or if there is just a topic that's trending, like tariffs, and you are contacted to make a statement on that. Well, you may not want to make a statement from your member company, but you can send folks to me, media or whomever is asking, and I can make a statement about industry overall. And the statement I make is going to be hand in hand with what the American Chemistry Council and the Texas Chemistry Council are both saying. But that way it kind of takes, you don't necessarily have to comment on certain things that you shouldn't be commenting or don't want to. You can share it with me. We provide once every couple years an industry-focused community opinion survey. We have a benchmark. This little tiny sliver of this is from 2023, so we're up to do another one. But we assess what the immediate community thinks of a number of issues, from air quality to noise to the value of industry to challenges with industry. So that's a really good tool that EHCMA does pay for through your memberships. When we say committee participation alongside industry peers, another example of this is all the committees we have. Best practices, some of these they're intuitive. Public information, emergency management, environmental security, workforce development. Each of these committees has a charter, and each one is focused on these significant areas. Each one has a committee chair, and the committee members comprise different member companies. So if you serve on a committee like this, and some meet monthly, some meet quarterly, some only meet when they need to meet. But if you serve, then you can find out more about it and meet colleagues who do the work that you do, of course, within antitrust guidelines. So no antitrust secrets are shared, but nevertheless, best practices so that we can all do the best work possible, fill the pipeline with the prospective employees who can work in industry, and environmental, follow legislative issues, public info and policy, help us with some of the good stuff that you've seen here. Another benefit is that EHCMA is always linking arms and developing relationships with critical partners. Now, this slide could have had, I don't know, like 200 logos on it, but we work very closely with TCC, the TCA, American Chemistry Council. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was in touch, and he was in touch with me, Scott Jensen from the ACC, to ask about our crisis communications handbook and what have we updated it with, and he's going to look at it, and then he shares some of ACC's best practices that we put in our own handbook. So that sort of thing. HASC opens its doors for our member breakfasts. We work very closely with Precinct 2, and to a degree, Precinct 3. Economic Alliance is a close partner. So basically, we are out there, developing those relationships and ensuring that we bring value to bear for you, because these relationships turn into opportunities. And most likely you've got your own relationships with some of these groups as well. But if you're not sure and there's somebody you would like to meet or something you'd like to do, give me a call. We might be able to help you out. Okay, so a little bit more. I mentioned Care to You earlier. Something that EHCMA has focused on this past year is the upgrading of the CARE app, Community Awareness Emergency Response. And by looking at who is on this call, I know that all of you know what that is. Now, over the past few years, the community has asked for a few things. Number one, we need push notifications. Number two, we need Spanish translation. The app is excellent, but it was created some time ago and really did need some upgrading. So Jeff Suggs, who leads our emergency management committee, has worked with an agency to do just that. And that is a presentation unto itself. But what I'm showing you here is the new logo, some representation of some new things, mapping, so you will know exactly where maybe not either an incident or where flaring is or where a situation is that you need to know about. It will keep track of your logins. Like I said, it will provide push notifications and Spanish translation. It really is an outstanding upgrade, and it has cost ECMA, to the benefit of its members and the community, $100,000 in the past 2 years. That's what apps cost, especially if you do them well. So that is an investment that you've made through your membership. A little more about your investment. Our board members come together every year and they determine what our most critical initiatives are. That doesn't mean we stop doing day-to-day work, okay? But it means, what are we really going to focus on this year? So since 2022, we've changed how we do things inside ECMA so that we can be the world-class trade association that you need. The best practice sharing, we had not really focused on as much. And so now that's a committee. Community engagement, helping our members learn more about citizens advisory panels and CAPS and CACs. Crisis communications is ongoing and never ending. So from the workshops to the webinars to trainings, we're focused there. The communication strategy, I mentioned CAP-CAC engagement a moment ago. Membership growth is also ongoing, because we want to engage you. We want to be sure that you are receiving what you need from the membership. But also, if we don't say continue to grow and stay sustainable, we won't be able to do the things that we do. So that's why recruiting is important and dues payment is important. More about your ECMA investment. This year, we are focused on something called the Incident Management Accountability Initiative. And while I won't go through this whole slide, it's a very, very deep dive into our emergency response readiness, incident communications, and third-party air monitoring and how we access that in the case of an incident. This focus is because there have been some incidents in recent years with our local legislative leaders a little displeased on how certain things happen. So we want to show them, and we want to improve ourselves. It's always possible to improve. So what can we do differently in these areas, or even better? And Kim Haas, our board chair, is leading this effort along with Bill Watson from Shell Deer Park Chemicals. And when I say investment, in this case, it is our board members who are leading these efforts. I mentioned earlier that we're out there, that we're developing relationships, but a close cousin of that is some of us on the board, some of us involved in the committees. We are out in the community every day sharing about what we do with industry. In the case of me, I like to give presentations. I actually give motivational talks to young women and to professionals about a lot of things, but I always bring industry up and ECMA up somewhere in my presentation to help people understand what we do. There are opportunities that are somewhat organic, such as Big Prime. They're a close partner, and we participate in one of their major initiatives every year called the Big Prime Expo. Here's Holly, our communications manager, talking to some young women at the recent Emergency Management Annual Opportunity Fair. Believe I'm with some kids there talking. It was an energy program, but either way, we're out there. We're out and about, and every day and every way we are advocating for industry, for the petrochemical and oil and gas industries, hydrocarbon, and of course, ECMA. And this is the last slide. Okay, you're hearing about all this stuff. What can you do if you want to get involved? Well, first of all, being able to unlock the benefits does come with some involvement. So there are different ways you can do it. You could serve on a committee. You could serve on the board of directors if you are a plant manager. Our bylaws do state that we need to have a plant manager from each region on our board. So there would be some assessment there. But if that really interests you, we meet every other month. And there are some things that we do. It's not a heavy lift, although we are all very committed to industry and the community. Go to our annual meeting. It's once a year. The one this year is December 10th. It's a happy hour, just like last year. We're still assessing speakers for that. Mentioned the member breakfasts. Give us your social media content. That's easy. Just forward stuff to us, and then we can amplify that. or we continue to look for it. Newsletter content, Holly puts that newsletter together every other month. We stay in touch with the communications committee for content, but if you want something in the newsletter you want to share with us, then by all means send it to us. We'll get in touch with your comms person, make sure it's all good. But let's get some of your info in our newsletter. Event leadership, you know, I I am very happy to moderate webinars. I am happy to lead events, but we're also happy to share that opportunity with our members, especially if you want, let's say you're in HR and you want to give an opportunity to one of your younger employees. They can moderate a webinar with my guidance and help, and that can be something they said they did, and it's an opportunity for their growth. If there is something you feel you'd like to communicate on behalf of a topic that's important to industry, of course, we have to assess and again be sure that it's aligned with our mission. But we definitely want to see you all involved. Survey participation, all I ask is if we send you one, just fill it out. Because we need to know what is important to you, what you care about, if you're happy with your membership, if you're not. Now, we haven't put one out in about a year or so, but with our events we do. So we hope that you can complete them. And then finally, partner initiatives. Texas Chemistry Council, as I mentioned earlier, had led Chemistry Day back in February. Now that you know that that exists and there's an opportunity to join myself and a couple board members in Austin, write to me and say, I'd like to go too. I'd like to be involved in those types of meetings. And so just let me know. But partner initiatives like that happen. That Big Prime, I showed you a photo a moment ago of a panel. Those are members who were in that panel. Just let us know what you'd like to do. But there are so many opportunities for a tiny amount of time, a little bit more, whatever you have available. So, how do you really get? I keep saying write to us. Here's the way you can do it. There are two ways. Number one, you can go to the website and just go to the upper right part of the website. It says contact us, just like every website. And under this will be a drop-down menu with your name and a box for what your question is or your issue. And Manifest Creative, our association firm, goes through those every day. And if it's like you just need a brochure, a trifold, I mean, they take care of that. But other things they will send my way in a very timely manner. Another thing you can do is just write to me or call me. That is my mobile number. I've had it for 20 years, haven't changed it yet. So you can call me anytime. I will say this isn't about engagement as much as need. If there is a crisis, if there is something critical you need, please call me. You know, don't question that. And I've been in crisis communications and with the Red Cross disaster deployment for a long time, and I don't mind calls after hours. Okay, so now we will pull out of, yeah. Okay, so now we will go ahead and pull out of the presentation. And at this point, does anybody have any questions? I don't think I see anything in the chat box. Uh, I'm glad to see so many of you on, but surely someone, anyone? How about I see a couple board members on here. Let's see. Well, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Mary Jane, I'm happy to speak up. This is Eric Johnson with Celanese. I appreciate you providing this information. Even as a board member, there was some things that I learned today that I was not familiar with. So I don't have a specific question, but I think it would be good as we get new members. Is part of your plan on onboarding new organizations to go through this information?
Absolutely. And, you know, I have a different presentation for the brand new members, and I'm thinking of combining the two because it doesn't go into that members only site and so forth. It really is more about upholding the ECMA standard with the notifying care. So yeah, absolutely.
I
Thanks,
think
Eric.
the other thing that we might want to think about is, yeah, somehow as we have turnover and transitions in our member companies, right? The main people who interact with ECMA. So some making some level of orientation available when there is a new site director. It may be a long time member, but I think that could be where we see drift or, um, as turnover happens, lack of awareness on some of the resources that are available and the role ECMA can play in supporting their organization.
And we thank you, Eric. Absolutely. And I'd like to ask our members here when there is turnover to make us aware. I definitely, when it comes to emergency management, Jeff Suggs, who is not on this call, he has said more than once, as folks turn over, they may not know all about e-notify. I mean, that's more of a crisis management topic. But then all of these value add resources as well, let us know. And then we try to stay on top of it too. When we hear about a new site manager, a new plant manager, we reach out and set up onboarding calls. So, yeah, thank you, Eric. You're one of our valued board members. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay. Um, okay, so Holly, my communications person, or our ECMA communications person, said a reminder that even if our member companies don't use our templates online, they can still call us for help. That's absolutely right. If I see a crisis, I immediately call the plant manager with respect to the fact that many of them have very good public affairs and communications people who are helping them. But if you don't, or even if you do and you need some assistance, I mean, I've written media statements, I don't even know how many over the years, press releases. We can offer you guidance and assistance. And then Holly also said, yeah, when you get media calls and media reporters or editors and don't know how to manage that, we can help you. Really good point, Holly. Thank you. Well, okay. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. This is going to be recorded, or it has been recorded. Be happy to share this with you later, but please let us know, once you get the survey, how this went. And if you have any further questions, please, I told you how to get in touch. We'd be happy to answer them. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Mary Jane.